I warned you all about Shakur Stevenson's upcoming fight and Turkey's new rules. But then you guys didn't want to listen to me. Now you must face the wrath. New information comes out that is shocking regarding Shakur Stevenson, the parameters of his upcoming fight, and your boy Ego got to talk about it in this video. So you don't want to miss a thing. Stay tuned to the end so you'll know exactly what is going on with Shakur Stevenson's fight and why his fight just became a lot more dangerous. Now, I gotta say, I really love what I do. Great thing about my job is it's all online. You can always refer back to what I said. It's like Hansel and Gretel, the tale of Hansel and Gretel, where they leave the breadcrumbs so they can try to find their way back. You can always make your way back to Boxing Ego content. So I made a video, I'll try to put a card at the end of this video, regarding Shakur Stevenson, posing a question, is he being set up? Because Turki, again, you need to watch that first video. But for the cliff notes, Turki came out with a new rule set. He says basically, and I've already covered it and read it verbatim. Again, check out that first video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. But basically, me paraphrasing, Turki said no more runners in his boxing league. Ring and Riyadh season, they've about had it and they're tired of it, and they're not into fights where it's a Tom and Jerry fight, cat and mouse game. He don't got time for that. So he pretty much ruled that out, and he's in charge of the money. But then new information comes out obtained by your boy Boxing Ego, and things just got a whole lot worse. Richardson Hitchens is getting ready to fight George Kambosos. George Kambosos' father had a very interesting reveal. So let's take a look at it. In this reveal, Kambosos, who is the manager and agent for a light heavyweight fighter named Imam Katayev, he is getting ready to fight David Morrell. Again, Kambosos' pops. He's manager and agent to this Australian fighter who is a knockout artist. The fighter is 10-0, undefeated, with 9 knockouts. Doesn't have a crazy resume, but so far it looks like, per who he's fought, he has power, a 90% knockout ratio. So Turki was pretty much roasted in boxing for having heinous cards that didn't deliver. The Fatal Fury card in New York, Times Square, headlined by Ryan Garcia Roley, combined with the Devin Haney fight and his fight with Jose Ramirez. Those two fights alone combined for like some of the lowest punches thrown in a championship fight. The next day, the same thing happened in Saudi Arabia on a ring Turkey card with Canelo Alvarez, baby. And that was Canelo versus William Skull. Canelo looked very bad, very lethargic, and this was supposed to hype up the Terrence Crawford fight. But back to Imam Katayev. He is a knockout artist on paper, getting ready to fight David Morrell, who's coming off of a loss to David Benavidez. And what Kambosos' pop said is shocking. He revealed for the first time, no one else have I seen state this. He revealed that the ring is going to be an 18 by 18 in size. That is definitely under the average size for a normal regular bout. Normally in boxing it's about 20 foot to 22 feet, right? And now we are getting the information that this is a smaller ring. So we look at it for David Morrell coming off of a loss. They're putting him in with the puncher who's managed by Kambosos' dad. And he has to, obviously David Morrell is a great fighter. So I haven't seen too much of Katayev myself, but I'm just saying on paper, a smaller ring would benefit a knockout artist, especially if he's not a complete fighter. And you never know with a David Morrell how his punch resistance is. He was in a war with Benavidez, how his mentality is, no longer being undefeated, coming off a loss. So that makes that fight more dangerous. But also keep in mind on that card is Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz, and the co-feature is Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. So being honest, it looks like with a smaller ring, there's no other way, but this definitely favors the come forward puncher. So that doesn't favor Shakur Stevenson, a smaller ring. I mean, anybody who knows boxing knows that a person who's kind of a pure boxer, uses a little bit of everything, has defense, they probably would prefer more real estate so they can navigate around. If you put somebody in a smaller ring, then there's less foot space and traffic for you to really do that. So now it looks like Turki's not playing any games, and he's trying to turn boxing into his very own kumite. He's trying to turn this into the kumite, where it's crazy. Like, my thing is this: boxing is boxing. It's the sweet science. You got to deal with all the styles. Now, what you have Turki doing, this ain't really boxing. You have the promoter who is tired of being roasted for bad fights and overpaying these guys. So now he's taking matters into his own hands, and he's like, we just going to put in a smaller ring to force a certain style of fight. And to me, if you're a boxer and you're a pure boxer, you should really question being on Turki's cards right now if you have the money man who's putting out statements telling the fighter how they should fight, and the expectation, setting this new standard, and then going as far as shrinking the ring in order to make sure that happens. Because let's be real, this will favor certain people. If you don't have much defense, that would favor you. If you're a power puncher with just pure offense, like a William Zepeda, he's not great on defense, but he throws a lot of punches and he's aggressive. So you're so thirsty for big events and, action, so you can be, I guess, regarded as, oh, this was a beautiful event and everybody happy. But to me, that's kind of doing too much. I've never seen this. We did see ring arguments, but it's usually between the fighter. Like, one comes to mind is Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. Canelo's team, they wanted a smaller ring. He said normally it's a 20-foot ring, and he's like, Billy Joe Saunders is just crying. Saunders' team was requesting a 24-foot ring, and, Canelo was being facetious, like, they can have whatever size ring, they can have the whole Cowboy Stadium. But Canelo has notoriously slow feet, so we know that his team preferred to have a smaller ring, just like he did in Mexico. If you look at the ring with John Ryder in his comeback fight, that ring was tiny and Canelo still couldn't get a knockout. But we know he is the A side, and that's what they were hoping for. They were hoping that Canelo, it makes it easier to cut off the ring. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this. Imagine if Al Heyman and PBC did this. Gervonta Davis, he's shorter than most of his opponents, but he's a clear-cut power puncher with a lot of power, but he can box. So you would make his job substantially easier against these taller guys like Rolly and Frank Martin. Why not put that in a 15 by 15 ring so he could just hurry up and knock you out, or 18 by 18 ring in this case? So I haven't seen it where the advertiser is, or the front man for the money is so vested in how the fight should play out that they're quote unquote trying to play God and mandating no running, and also going to the length of complaining about a bigger ring, or not even complaining, just saying, hey, we're going to scale this to a smaller ring, smaller than average. I just showed you, Canelo told you the average would be about 20 by 24 or so, right? And I've never seen it where you got the advertiser so invested in the ring being small. Usually the camp would want that because their fighter struggles to cut off the ring and they want the advantage. So good luck to Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda.